President Biden vowing to get the southern border under control, but better act quickly. While the administration works to deport thousands of mostly Haitian migrants from a squalid camp in Del Rio, Texas, more than 20,000 more Haitians are reportedly waiting in Colombia to make their way into the United States. Texas Governor Greg Abbott was down in Del Rio and unloaded on the president.
The Biden administration has been promoting and allowing open border policies. Failure to enforce laws that exist in the United States leads to chaos, and chaos leads to inhumanity. The Biden administration is a man-made disaster of inhumanity, of epic proportions. It must end. It must end immediately.
And the media and Democrats being accused of misrepresenting the facts for pushing a narrative that Border Patrol agents were whipping migrants. Watch.
What I saw depicted about those individuals on horseback treating human beings the way they were is horrible. I fully support what is happening right now, which is a thorough investigation.
I was not aware that whips, people had that kind of equipment on them that they could use on humans.
There is obviously systematic racism at play here.
It does smack of a bygone era of slavery, aided by reports of people being beaten, whether with a riding crop or the reins.
Border Patrol is pushing back, saying agents and horse reins use horse reins. They're not whips. I want to point this out. Here's Secretary Mayorkas, who yesterday defended the Border Patrol. Today, he had changed his tune. Why? Watch him.
Images have come out of Border Patrol agents whipping Haitian immigrants. So my question to you, do you think that's a humane way to treat migrants?
You are assuming facts that have not yet been determined. To ensure control of the horse, long reins are used, but we are going to investigate the facts to ensure that the situation is as we understand it to be, and if it's anything different, we will respond accordingly. Any mistreatment or abuse of a migrant is unacceptable. We are very troubled by what we have seen.
And with a lot more to come on that, but the investigation didn't happen overnight, and yet he changed his opinion. He must have gotten a phone call. Greg, this whole thing is bad, not just the whole made-up thing about the whip, but the situation is bad. There's a humanitarian crisis at the border as well.
But I don't care about the humanitarian crisis until I can find an angle that I like.
Yeah.
And that's what you just saw with these dumb hacks that you just saw in that montage. Wow. These networks, these people, had no interest in this story until they could create an acceptable villain in law enforcement. They didn't give two poops, and I said poop. I was going to say the other one, about the 12,000 refugees that were there. But, they discover a Twitter image in their doom scrolling, and it looks like a whip. And so they go full Covington, right? Chris Cuomo, Yamiki April, all these other bozos who pretend to be journalists, then pretend to have a story. Do you know that if the Democrats and the media had cared enough about this crisis from the time that we started covering it months ago and then weeks ago with this actual story would not exist. It wouldn't be necessary for guys to be on horses to help control the crowd. So when I say they're pulling a Covington, I mean this. They could not use the striking video that has been coming from Fox, from the drones and from the helicopters, because you cannot manipulate that image. Those images are real. It tells the whole story. But you can take one disturbing image, right? One disturbing image, and you can turn it and manufacture a narrative that is to your liking. These lazy hacks ignored the stark footage that had been coming out, and then suddenly they are outraged. We must reject these fools. They're disgusting, and they don't care.
Yeah, well, they don't care about the fact that we are a sovereign nation. We have the right to protect the border. They aren't taking a story that they're saying to you, don't believe your lying eyes. You've got a guy on a horse, Border Patrol, riding Western with split reins. You use a rein to get the horse to move this way or that way. If you're in a situation where there are people or another horse that's very close, it's a quick way to move the horse. It's got nothing to do with the people on the ground. It's you maneuvering your horse. And the fact that they would turn that into them doing something like whipping the illegals is outrageous. It is outrageous.
So the Border Patrol agents were attacked by the Vice President of the United States and now the Department of Homeland Security before an investigation, if they really need to do an investigation. Could they claim that they have a hostile workplace, Geraldo?
First of all, I have to say that, what is this, the Cisco Kid? You know, these are migrants fleeing a desperate situation. These aren't escaping inmates. And this behavior, this macho man behavior, is absolutely unacceptable.
How can you accuse anyone of macho behavior, Geraldo? That's been your career for 50 years.
I'm not. You may be right about that, but nevertheless, I appreciate our frontline uniformed services. They've got a tough job. There is a crisis at the border of Joe Biden's making. I concede that absolutely we have to do something. Trump did it better. I concede that. But when you have that happening, that shows an attitude that is absolutely unacceptable.
What are they doing wrong?
What are they doing? How would you like it if it was your ancestor coming across the damn Rio Grande and the guy on,
There's a guy on a horse trying to enjoy
Lash LaRue, and you make a distinction between he wasn't whipping. It wasn't I was a slave for 12 years, whatever that movie was. But there's a big reins and big horses, and he's trying to intimidate and terrorize.
You're interpreting an image. You're interpreting an image,
Sean, jump in.
If it was you, it wouldn't be interpretation.
But he's not breaking the law.
Hold on a second. I'm with Greg. Reject the fools, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, here you have Kamala Harris saying we need to treat them as human beings. The mistreatment, Mayorkas said, the mistreatment of migrants is unacceptable. I get that. But where in the hell have these people been when little girls are being sold into sex slavery? Little girls are dying in the desert. Their parents are dying in the desert. Drugs are flowing into the country. This has created mass human chaos.
How does the guy on horseback?
Hold on a second. Hold on.
That's his job to prevent it.
That's what I said.
We don't have it, but I watched a video before I came on the show where actually the migrants were pushing women in front of them into the horses themselves, and they're like, the Border Patrol is like, what are you doing pushing women into us? What kind of people are you? So, Geraldo, you can't take a small video and categorize Border Patrol, who has been doing yeoman's work on the humanitarian side on the border and castigate all of them. Democrats need to step up and go, listen, we've created this mess. We have a humanitarian crisis coming across Mexico into our border. Leave the Border Patrol alone. And if you're going to get outraged, don't get outraged at this video. Get outraged on the horrors that are taking place along the journey.
All of it outrages me, Sean. There's no doubt about it. This is a crisis. Joe Biden's kindness has created this cruelty. Kindness has created cruelty.
No.
But we still have to bend over backward. This is America. This is a place where we don't have horses chasing.
We do have horses. This is a country of laws. This is a country with a border. We are a sovereign nation.
These aren't horses.
I don't care what they are.
They are
coming here illegally.
Humanity. They're seeking a better life for their families, just like your parents.
As far as we know, look, my parents came here illegally.
Rather, they do this in America. They do this in Times Square at last call. I've been there. When the horses come out to disperse crowds.
You probably had it coming.
Oh, there you go. The truth comes out.
Claimed asylum.
The old identity politics.
Claim asylum.
Yeah, identity
I think
politics.
Carmine's restaurant.
Yes.
We'll get to that in my block.
Okay.
The other thing is, Sean, that Kamala Harris, the press secretary, said she was working on the root causes. Mm-hmm. Where is that?
Well, it's a great point. Where are the root causes? Are they in the Northern Triangle? Are the root causes now in Haiti? Are the root causes all over the country?
Yeah, the root causes weren't necessarily, actually, that's a good point. In the report that she provided, that she didn't include
The root causes are I want to come to America.
Exactly.
It's a land of
the
plenty.
root cause is everybody wants to live in America.
That's education, medication, housing, welfare, and you know what? Disability. I want all that. Maybe I want to work too.
There are 150,000 Haitians in New York City alone.
Good.
They are the best neighbors. They are business people. They are entrepreneurial. They are faith-based.
That's not the argument.
Mayorkas should be fired. I mean, you sit out here and say, my strategy is that I'm going to tell people not to come to the border, as opposed to shutting down the border. Judge, shut it down. Do what Trump did.
He needs some of the
send people back. But the Homeland Security, our Homeland Security is devastated by this kind of leadership.